subnetting. Now we have already seen the IP addresses classes, IPv4 classes. In IPv4 we have different classes like A, B and C, D and E. We can use only A, B and C for commercial purpose. We can't use D and E. D is for the multicasting purpose and E is only for the reserve. It is reserved for R&D. When we see class A or even a B class, you may have lots of IP addresses in a single network. Single network, that means a single network where all the machines are connected together and they can do the communication together. So in single class A network we get lots of IP addresses. Even in the class B we get 65,536 IP addresses. That means 65,536 machines which is located together, they are connected together and they can do the communication together. Now it's a very big number. That means maybe we have never seen that much big office or big company where we have these 65,000 devices connected together. So it is very difficult, or we can say it is not possible to have thousands of devices connected together in a single building or single room. Now, but in class A or B or C, when you have a single network, that means they can do all communicate together. Even if suppose you are having a big organization where you have thousands of devices, you may have different departments. You are not working only for the single department. You have different departments. You have, and it's a big organization, so you have a whole campus of your organization. In your campus, you may have different buildings, different departments. It is not possible that all your 1,000 devices are in the same department or same building. But in networking, in IPv4 addresses, if you are having a class A or class B address, one network, that means all those machines can do communicate together. But what is the problem when we have these all machines in a single network? The problem will come for managing and troubleshooting. If you have that numbers of devices connected together and doing the communication together, that means you will face a problem of management and troubleshooting also. So in that case, what we do here, we do subnetting. Subnetting means very simple. We convert single subnet into multiple different subnets. So we convert single network, like we get suppose a class B network or A network or C network. What we do, we convert them into multiple sub networks so that we can do easily management and troubleshooting. For example, you are having a big network like class B network. So this is what your network. Now you're having thousands of devices in a single organization or in a single organization campus, but you may not have this in a single building or single process or single department. So what we have, basically we have different departments. Like we have one department, this is the department server, then we have clients for that department, then we have other department, this is other department server, and their clients. So we are having different departments here. We have different process, we have different devices there, server, client, and all this. We have different department here also. We have one more department here. So when we have this much big network where we have thousands of devices connected, what we have a problem here. We have a problem here for troubleshooting and management. Now for example, if I don't divide them into different subnet, if I use them as a single subnet, then what happens if suppose some problem comes into this department, in this department. So because they are connected together, this problem can reach to or can affect all these other departments also. They don't concern it. They have not created the problem, but they have to you have to feel the effect of that problem. Or maybe suppose we have some viruses in this department. Suppose some viruses comes into this department. Now because they are connected together, they are in the same subnet, they are in the same network, they can do communication to each other. Then what happen, this virus can spread all over the network. It can infect all the machines in our whole organization. Then if you face some problem and you want to do the troubleshoot, because all of them is single network, then you're facing very big problem to do the troubleshooting, because you don't know where the problem is starting or where is the problem. So you have to do the troubleshoot and you have to monitor or check all the network. Can be a very big task. Now for that reason, what we do here, we use subnetting. Subnetting is very simple. We divide single network into multiple subnetworks. That means if this is a single class B network, so what I will do, I will divide this into multiple subnet. Now after dividing them into multiple different subnet, they will not able to do the communication. Remember, they will not be able to do the communication together. They will be considered as a different subnet, different network. So whatever the communication happen here, it will not go to this department, this subnet, it will not go to other subnets. There is one more big problem here when you have a single subnet here. It's a broadcast problem. This subnetting save you from that broadcast problem also. Remember, when you have a broadcast, then your network goes slow. So as much as you got broadcast in your network start getting slow. So if suppose some client here wanted to connect this server, and suppose this client wants to do the broadcast only for this department, not for other department, only for this department. If suppose this wants to do the broadcasting some data, but because it will go to this department, but it will also go to other department because they are into single network. So if they are into single network, this broadcast can also go to other department machines, because they are connected together, they are a single subnet. So this subnetting do what? It divide these broadcast into multiple broadcast domain, we can say. So also we save from the unwanted broadcast also. So if the broadcast goes for this department, it will remain in this department, it will not go to other departments. So very simple, subnetting is what? Dividing single network into multiple subnetworks. Then these subnetworks will not be able to do the communication directly. They need a device called router to do the communication together. That means if suppose we want to do the communication between two subnets, then we have to set up the router here. And router will do what? Will connect these two subnets together. Because router's job is to connect two different networks, two different segments, two different subnets. Within the subnet, only switch or hub can work. Switch will do what? Switch connect within the subnet, within the network, it connects all the devices. But if you want to communicate between two different subnets, two different networks, then you need router. So after dividing it into different subnets, it will become like a different network, different subnets. So they will not do any communication directly. Even if you connect them together with the switch, they will not do the communication. So we need what? Router to do the communication between these two networks, these two subnets. But why we need to do the communication? We have divided them. We want them to be separated. We don't want them to do the communication. We have divided them to do to not do unwanted communication. We just don't want them to do unwanted communication, unwanted broadcast, unwanted things. Like if some broadcast goes for this department, it should not go to other departments or other subnets. That is why we have divided them. If some problem comes, then it should not go to other departments. But because they are in the same organization, these all departments are from same organization. Sometimes they wants to send some data to other department. They want to send some mail to other department. They want to get some data from other department. Now these kind of communications are unicast. It is not like a broadcast communications. So they can do that by using the router. So if someone wants to access some other department data, then they can go through the router to the other department. And these routers do what? They don't forward broadcast. So if this segment or this subnet has any broadcast or anything, it will not cross the router. Routers don't forward broadcast. Routers do only send unicast network, they don't do the broadcast. So even if they are connected through the router, these broadcast and problems will not go to other department. Only the unicast, only the data, only the targeted data will go to other department. But other things will not go. So this is why we do the subnetting, and this is how we can join two subnets also. So very simple. Why we do the subnetting? To make thing easy. We do it for ease of troubleshooting, ease of management. So we do this, and we divide the single network into multiple sub networks. Now how we'll do that? And what is the advantages of subnetting? So very simple, it reduces the network traffic with routers. So routers and most traffics will stay on the local network. Only packets destined for the other network will pass through the router. So no broadcast traffic will pass through the router. Only the destined network traffic, the packet which is having some destination IP address, they will pass through the router. Routers create broadcast domains, and the more broadcast domains you create, the smaller the broadcast domains and the less network traffic on each network segments. So it will reduce the broadcast into same subnet and local network. It will not go to other networks, and it will reduce it. Then optimized network performance, which is a result of reduced network traffic. So by doing the segmentation, by doing the subnetting, we optimize the network performance also, because it reduced the network traffic, and it simplified the management, and it is easier to identify and isolate network problems in a group of smaller connected network than within a gigantic network. So it is easy for management and identify the problem in the small network than the big network. Then it facilitates spanning of large geographical distance, because WAN links are considerably slow and more expensive than LAN links. A single large network then that spans long distance can create problems in every area previously listed. So connecting multiple smaller networks makes the system more efficient. So it is also facilitated spanning a large geographical distance, because WAN links are considerably slow. So connecting small network or small subnets together is what it is easier for making the big WAN. It is efficient. It is more efficient. So these are the advantages of the subnetting. Now we know what is subnetting and why we do the subnetting. What are the advantages of the subnetting? Now we should know how to create the subnets and how to do the subnettings. So when you try to do the subnetting, so these are the simple steps you have to follow. First, determine the number of required network IDs. Then one for each subnet, one for each wide area network connections. Then determine the number of required host IDs per subnet. one for each TCP/IP host and one for each router interface. Then based on the above requirement, create the following. So first you have to determine how many networks you need and how many host IP you need. Then based on that you will create one subnet mask for your entire network, a unique subnet ID for each physical segment, and the range of host IDs for each subnet. Then one more thing, it is called classless inter-domain routing, that is called CIDR. This CIDR is basically the method that ISPs, that is internet service providers, use to allocate a number of addresses to a company, a home, a consumer. When you receive a block of addresses from the ISP, with you get will look something like this: 192.168.10.32/28. So this /20 is actually called CIDR. Now the CIDR, this value is not only, it is not a different thing, it is actually a subnet mask. It is actually a subnet mask. So instead of writing the subnet mask like 255.255.255.0, we can write it like /24 here. This tells this is telling you what your subnet mask is, and the slash notation means how many bits are turned on. So this /28 means how many bits are enabled in subnet mask. It is just a subnet mask, nothing else. So it is only representing that how many bits are enabled in the subnet mask. Now obviously the maximum could only be /32, because remember subnet mask is also 32-bit address. So if you enable all the bits from the subnet mask, then you will go up to /32. Because a byte is 8-bit and there are 4 bytes in an IP address, that is 4 multiplied by 8 is 32. But keep in mind that the largest subnet mask available regardless of the class of address can only be /32, because you have got to keep at least 2 bits for host bits. For class A, default subnet mask is what? 255.0.0.0. So this means that the first byte of this subnet mask is all ons, all ones. That means 111111, 8 times ones. So when referring to the slash notation, you need to count all the one bits to figure out your mask. So the 255.0.0.0 is considered as a /8 because it has 8 bits that are 1, that is 8 bits that are turned on. And in class B, default subnet mask would be 255.0.0.0, which is 16 because 16 bits are on. It is like this: 111111111.0000000.00000. So here when you see 16 bits are on in default class B subnet mask, that means we can say it is 16/16. So a listing of every available subnet mask in and its equivalent CDR slashes notation is like CDR value /8 to 15 can only be used with class A network addresses, while /16 through 23 can be used by class A and B network. And /24 through 30 can be used by class A, B and C and its network addresses. This is a big reason why most companies use class A network addresses, since they can use all subnet masks. They get the maximum flexibility and network design. So if you see, this is the table. It is called like for class A you can have default subnet mask is this /8, and then if you change these to 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, it will look like this. Then you can go up to 16. That means you will get default of class B. Then you can go up to 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 23, 24, 23. That means it is up to this class B, then class C will default subnet mask has a /24, then you can go up to /30. Now this is what CIDR value. It is not only this is not anything else. It is just a subnet mask. It is just a representation of subnet mask in a different way. Like /8, that means 8 bit is on in your subnet mask. /16, that means 16 bits are on in your subnet mask. Now how we'll do the subnetting? First, we know why we are doing the subnetting. We are doing the subnetting because we have a different department in our organization, and we want them to be separated. We don't want them to interact with each other. We just don't want to send one broadcast to other department. We just want them to make divided into small parts, small segments, so that it will be easy for us to do the troubleshooting and manage. Now we'll start from class C first. Class C. Now in class C, let's say we are having this network available, and in this network is like 192.168.1.0. This is what a network we have. This is the default subnet mask we have, 255.255.0. This is the subnet we have, this is the subnet mask we have, and this is the network we have. Now we have these 4 departments, and in these 4 departments we have these numbers of requirement of host. So we have required numbers of host is like 60, 50, 58 and 49, accordingly, like these different departments we need. So first we should know that how many departments. Now departments means how many networks we want. Then we should know that how many hosts we required, maximum. So first, this is what we have, the total network. This is what we have, the one network. So right now what we have single network, and in that single network we have available IP addresses. So how many available IP addresses we have? So we have total IP address in class C you will get is what, 256. So right now we have 256 IP addresses in a single network. But what requirement we have? So we have a requirement of network is 4. We need 4 networks. Then how many hosts we want or we need? So if we can see in every network, the maximum number of hosts we required is 60. So host maximum number per network we required is what, 60. Now this is what our requirement. Now according to this requirement we are going to do the subnetting, and we'll divide our single subnet which is this class C subnet, and we'll divide it into this 4 different subnets with this maximum number of required hosts. When we want to do the subnetting, so first we should know that how we know that what is the network and what is the host in our IP addresses. So basically this subnet mask define that what is the network part and what is the host part. Now in this subnet mask, if you check, when all the bits are on, it is considered as a network part, and when all bits are off, then it is considered the host part. So basically how many networks we have and how many hosts we have, it is defined by the subnet mask. So when we want to do the subnetting also, so we will do this by modifying this subnet mask. Now what subnet mask right now we have, so if we see, this is the default one. Now what that means, the first 8 bits are on, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and that is why we are getting 255. Then second 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 is also on, that is why we are getting the other 25. Then next is also all bits are on, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and that is what the third 255 we get, but the last one is off. So all the bits are off here. That means 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So this is what the default subnet mask we have, and this is what the binary version of that subnet mask. And in the subnet mask, when the bit is on, it is considered as a network, and when the bit is off, it is considered as a host. So very simple. In subnet mask, 1 means on bits means it is network, and 0 bit means it is host. So very simple. In subnet mask we can easily say that on bits means network and 0 bits means host. And that is why with this default subnet mask, this all bits are on, 24 bits are on. So we raise 2 to 24 to get the number of network available in class C, because this is class C's default subnet mask. And in a single network, how many hosts we get? We get by using 2 raised to this host bits. That means 0 available 0 bits, that is 2 raised to 8 bits. So we get 256. So that is why in single network of class C we get 256 hosts, because we are having available 0 bits are 8. Now we cannot change the default subnet mask. Remember, we cannot change the default one because it is class C. So this is the default one and we can't change this default one. It will always be the same. But these zeros, this host part is for us. We can make use of this host part any way we want, and that is how the subnetting is work. The subnetting is done. So for doing the subnetting, what we do actually, we steal some bits from the host part. We cannot remove, we cannot disable or enable any bits from the default subnet, but these default subnet bits, but these host bits are for us. So we steal some bits, that means we enable some bits from the host part to do the subnetting. To do the subnetting, that means to divide this single subnet into more subnets. So remember, we can't change the default one, but these zeros are for us. So we'll do this. We will modify these zeros. We enable these zeros. We steal some bits from the host part to get some new networks. So subnetting is very simple, enabling the host bits to get more networks, which how many networks you want and how many zeros we want, how many hosts we want. So this is the default one. Now we look for our requirement. Requirement is this. We need 4 networks. Now for 4 networks, how many on bits we need from the host part? That means we have to see that how many bits I want to enable it from here, from the host, to get the 4 networks. Now for that you have to look for the 2 raised to option, like how many bits we want to raise to get number 4. So let me show you the simple table for it that will help that how many bits we will enable to get number 4. So for that, now for example, you want to know how many networks you need, how many hosts you need, or how many hosts you will get. So you should remember the simple table there, 2 raised to table. So when you remember in your mind the table, you will know everything. So this is what the table of 2, like 2 raised to 1, 2 raised to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and what numbers you will get when you raise 2 raised to 1, 2 raised to 2, 2 raised to 3, 2 raised to 4. Like you will get 2 raised to 1, you will get 2, then 4, then 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512, 1024, then 2 raised to 11, 2 raised to 12. Because we are having 32 bits, it can go up to 30. It can go up to 32, but it will go up to only 30. So we should know these numbers. Now what this is actually, this 2 raised to 1 means I'm having one bit. So if suppose I have one bit, so if the bit is on, that means I will get what? Network. That means 2 raised to 1, I will get 2 networks. Now if suppose the bit is off, so I will say 2 raised to 1, I will get host. Number of host will get 2. That means this 2 raised to 1, this 1 is what? This 2 is what? It is the bits we have. So bits, either we have 1 bit or off bit. So if we have on bits, then we'll get number of network, this number of network, or when we have off bits, then we'll get number of host, this number of host. And that is why you can see here we have 8 off bits, that means 2 raised to 8, and we are getting 256 host in class C. So why we are getting 256 hosts? Because we have 8 zeros, and when we raise 2 raised to 8, we are getting what? 256. That means total number of hosts we are getting 256. Now what we required here? So we required 4 networks, because we are having these 4 networks here. So we want 4 networks, and each network we required this number of hosts. So I will look into the table here, number of network or host, and I will see where I will get number 4. So I can see here I am getting number 4 at the second bit when I have 2 bits. So when I raise 2 raised to 2, I will get number of 4. Now what I need actually? Number of network. That means what I want? 2 number of on bits. Two number of on bits I want to get 4 number of networks. That means we have these 0 bits available, and these 0 bits I can change. So what I want to change is, I want to enable 2 bits here to get number of 4 network, so that my requirement will fulfill. Now when I enable 2 bits from these 8 0 bits, so how many 0 bits will remain? That will also you have to look, because you have to take care about the host also. So you have to look for the 0 bits also. So how many 0 bits it will remain when I enable 2 bits from this 8? So when you remove from 8, when you remove 2 from 8, that means you will get 6. You will remain with 6 0 bits. Now 6 0 bits, that means how many hosts I will get? So I will look into this table. So 2 raised to 6 is equal to 64. That means 6 0 I have, so I will get 64 host IP addresses. And 64 is enough for me, because the maximum number of net host I need is 60. I can see 60, 50 here, I need 60 here, I need 50, 58 and 59. So that means what? I need at least 60 in each network. In each network I need at least 60 to fulfill my requirement, and what I am getting is 64. So it is enough for me to fulfill the requirement of each network. So what is the requirement here? 4 network and 60 hosts per network, and what I will get after enabling 2 bits from this 8 zeros, I will get 4 networks which is I required, and each network I will get 6 0 bits, I will get 64 hosts. So what I am going to do here, I am going to change the default subnet mask into what I need. Now let's do it in the single process, or we can say in the process manner. So let's do it in stepwise. So what is the first step? So first step is to find out number of network and host required. So we have find out that we need number of network is 4 and we need host per network is maximum 60. Remember, you have to find out the maximum number of hosts. So this is what we have done. Now is step 2. Step 2, to see what is the default subnet mask we have. Because remember, we'll do the subnetting by modifying the subnet mask. So we have this subnet mask. Now what we'll do here, third step is to find out how many bit we want to enable or disable, how many enable and disable bit we want from the subnet mask to fulfill our requirement. How many on bits and off bits we need to fulfill our requirement. Now we know that we need what? Because we need 4 networks, that means we need what? 2 raised to we need 2 bits. We need 2 on bits. So we get 4 networks. Then in each network we get 6 bit. That means we can say after enabling 2 bits, or we can say we get 6 of bits. So we get 6 of bits to get at least 64 hosts. So we know that now what we'll do, we will enable these 2 bits. Now enable bits in subnet mask. Now how you will do here, so very simple, this is our subnet mask. We'll convert it into binary. So this one is 1 1 1 1 1 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 dot 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 dot 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 dot. Now this we cannot change, so this is what the default one, we can't change this one. Now this means we can't change this color, this one. We have this 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 0 available for us, so we can change this one. Now how we'll do that? We need two on bits. Now you have to remember the rule here, that when you enable any bits in subnet mask, this is not an IP address, so when you want to enable any bits from the subnet mask, then it is always enabled from left to right continuously. You cannot enable any bits from in between. You cannot enable any bits from middle or anywhere like you want. You have to enable the bits from continuously from right to left. That is why you see here all these default bits are continuously getting on. It is not like it is enabling some bits from here, some bits from there. It is not like that. So in the subnet mask, when you want to enable the bits, you have to enable it continuously from left to right. And if you want to have a zeros in the subnet mask, then it will go continuously from right to left. So all the zeros you will get from the right side of the subnet mask, and all the ones you will get from the left side of the subnet mask. So if you want to enable 2 bits from this subnet mask, then you have to enable it from here continuously. You cannot do like enable from 1 bit from here and the second bit you will enable from here. You can do that. You have to enable it continuously from left to right. So whatever, how many numbers of bits you want to enable, you have to do it like this. Enable 1 1 1 1 1 1. So we have to enable it from left to right. So how we'll do this? So I will enable 2 bits here. So these ones are default 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. I cannot change this one, but I want to have a 2 extra bits, so I will enable it from here 1 2 continuously from left to right. Then I will make all the remaining bits as 0. So 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. That means remaining 6 bits I will leave it as a 0, and these bits we can't modify, but we can modify these bits. So I enable these 2 bits. Now enable 2 bits and remaining bits will be 0. So how many networks we will get? So we will get 4 networks after enabling 2 bits. How many hosts we will get per network? We will get 64 hosts. After enabling 2 bits, we remain with the 6 bits and we will get 64 hosts in every network. Now we enable the bit here. Now what happened here, actually the subnet mask will change now. Now our subnet mask is not remain as it is. Now it is changed. How it is changed? So 255.255.255. This one is as it is not changed, but this one now it is not 0. Why? Because we have enabled these 2 bits. So when we enable these 2 bits, we have to remember, to get the subnet mask, we have to remember what are these 2 bits value in decimal. So we remember that first bit value as a position is it 1, then second bit value is 2, then 4, then 8, then 16, 32, 64 and 128. So this 2 bits value is 128 plus 64, and that is 192. So after enabling these 2 bits, my default subnet mask is changed and now it becomes 255.255.192. Now that means what? We have 4 networks in this and we have 64 hosts in every network. So basically, when you assign this subnet mask to any machine or any device, that device automatically calculate that you have divided 4 networks and each network has 64 subnets. Now we know the subnet mask. Now we can do what? We can assign these IP addresses to these different departments. So first, this department I will assign the IP address. So the IP addresses will start from 192.168.1.0. This is the first IP address will be. This will be the first IP address in this department, and this is what network address for this department. This will be the network address. Network address, that means the first address which we can't use. So the first address which we can use will start from 192.168.1. This first IP we can't use for any device, so the IP which we can use will start from 1.1. Then the last IP for this subnet, because remember in every subnet we are getting 64 hosts. So 64 host IPs, that means the last IP will be 192.168.1.63. Now why I am saying 63? Because we are starting from 0. So when we add 0 into 63, it will become 64. So 64 IPs we have in one subnet. So this will be the last IP for this subnet. But this subnet last IP we can't use. Remember, in every network the last IP we are not able to use because the IP is for broadcast. We can't use this last IP. So actually the valid IPs are from 192.168.1.1 till 192.168.1.62, because after that 63 will be the broadcast address for this network. Now when we go and assign IP addresses on this department in every machine, so we will assign the IP addresses from 192.168.1.1 to 192.168.1.62. So all these IPs which is available here to assign on this subnet, so we will assign all these IPs, these IPs on these machines here. Now when we assign these IPs on these machines here, what we will do, we will not use the default subnet mask here. So what we will use here is 255.255.255.192 instead of 255.255.0. So when we use this subnet mask and we assign these IP addresses on this subnet, so the machine will easily understand that we are having 4 subnets, 4 networks, and these IPs are from first network of those 4 subnets. Then this is what the first network we assigned here. Then the second network we will assign here in the next department, where it will start from the network IP 192.168.1. Remember, it was ended on 63, so the next IP will be 64. Now this IP will be the network IP for the next department, and the valid IP which we can use will start from 65, and in this subnet it will go up to 255.255.1.2. we add more 64 into this 64. After 64 we add more 64 here, so it will go up to 128. Now 128, because we are starting from 64, we will write 127 here. This will be the broadcast address for this subnet. So this is the broadcast address. So valid addresses are from 192.168.1.65 to 1.26. So these are the valid addresses here. So in this department, all the machines, when we assign the IP addresses, we will use the IP addresses from 192.168.1.64 to 1.126. And when we assign the subnet mask, so what subnet mask we will use is 255.255.255.192. So when we use this subnet mask, so all these machines will easily understand that this department is the second network of the 4 networks of 192.168.1.0. Now the next department, what IP we will assign here. So it will start from 192.168.1. Remember, it was ended on 127, so it will start from 120, and that first IP will be the network IP for this department. So first host IP, valid host IP will be 192.168.1.129, and it will go up to the valid IP of the last IP, which will be the broadcast IP, will be 192.168.1. Now again we have to add 64 more IPs here. So after 128, when you add 64, so it will become 192. But because we are starting from 0, so this 128 is also count. So we have to reduce 192 to 191. Then the valid IPs will end from, it will go up from 192.168.1.129 to 1.190. So when we assign IP addresses to this department and every devices of this department, so we will use these numbers, these IPs from 129 to 190, and the subnet mask which we use here is also 255.255.255.192. We will not use the default subnet mask. So by using this subnet mask, machines of this department will easily understand that we are having 4 networks, and this is the third network of that 4 network. Now next, last network here, we remain the last part of the 64 IPs. Remember, we have divided this 256 IP into 4 parts, 4 departments and 4 networks, and each one has 64. So 64 we have assigned here, 64 we have assigned here, 64 we have assigned here. Now the last 64 we have remained, so we will assign this here. So it will start from 192.168.1. We have ended on 191, so it will go to 192. Then it will go and end on what? 192.168.1.255. This will be the last IP, and the host IPs which we can use here will be 192.168.1.193 to 192.168.1.254. So these numbers of IPs we can use, and this last IP we can't use. It is actually the broadcast IP. And when we assign these IPs here in this department devices, we will not use the default subnet mask. So we will use what? This subnetted mask, which is 192. We will use this subnetted mask here. So what we did here, we divided one subnet into 4 different networks. We have this single network, but we did what? We divided this network into 4 different networks. Now these 4 networks are divided. They will not do any communication in between. They will not do any communication together. They will remain separate. How they will know that they are in different subnets? Because of this subnet mask. Remember, subnet mask identifies that which is the network part and which is the host part. One more thing, when we do the subnetting, when we divide single network into multiple networks, we actually lose some IP addresses. We lose some IP addresses for network and broadcast. Remember, when we did not do any subnetting, this was our first IP address, which is the network address, and this one was the last IP address, which is the broadcast address. That means we just only lose 2 IP addresses in 256 IPs. We lose this first network IP and the last broadcast IP. But now when I divide it into 4 subnets, now I am losing these IPs also. These IPs also we can't use, because now this one is become broadcast IP. This one becomes the network IP, this one becomes the broadcast, this one network, this one broadcast, this one network, this one already it was a broadcast. So we lose some extra IP as network and broadcast. So it is not like when you do the subnetting you will increase the IP addresses. Don't think like it. It will not increase any IP addresses. It will only divide the existing IP addresses into different networks. And when we divide them, so we lose some network and broadcast IP addresses. Now I will show you how it works. Because of this subnet mask, machines automatically understand that this is what network address, this is broadcast address, and what we have 4 subnets. Let me show you that. This is what the IP configuration. I want to configure the IP address to this machine. Now see what happens. So this is my configuration of this machine network IP. So I'm going to configure the IP, and now see what happens. Now first, suppose I use this IP 192.168.1.0. This is what class C. You can see automatically it gives me the class C subnet mask. Now if I'm not doing any changes, this host bits are 0. Host bits are 0, that means it's a network address. If I try to use this, it says you can't use it. Because it's a network address, you can't use it because the host bits are 0. Okay, now if suppose I use 255 here, now host bits are on. That means this is the broadcast address. Now remember, there is no subnetting, it is 0 here. So it says okay, 255. Now when I try to use it, you can't use this because it's a broadcast address. All bits are 1. All bits are enabled here on the host part. So this is the default network and broadcast address when you are having no subnetting. No subnetting, and you see automatically it will give you the subnet mask. Now if I use any other IP in between, for example if I use this 1.63, 1.120, 164, 127, 128, 191, 192, any of this IP, it will use it. For example, if I use 64 here, and if I say yes, I want to use this, it's okay with it. It uses that IP. Why it uses that IP? Because there is no subnetting. I have not configured any subnetting. Now if I change this 0 to 192, now my machine automatically understands that this is what we have divided the network, this single network, into 4 subnets, and this IP is now network IP of the second subnet. So if I try to use this, what it says here, that all the host bits are set to 0. That means it's a network address. It is not accepting that address with this subnet mask, because it knows that this is what the network address, and it cannot use it because all the bits are set to 0. Same as for 63 also. If I use this, it's a broadcast address for the first subnet. You see says all bits are 1, that means it's a broadcast address. It will same for 127 also. If I try to use 127, it says this one is also broadcast address, whose bits are set to 1. And also I cannot use 128, 191, 192 also. If I try to use 128, it will not allow me. It's a network address. Then if I try to use 191, it will not allow me to use. It's a broadcast address. If I want to use 192, it is not allow me. It will allow me. It is a network address. But in any IP in between I can use. Like if I want to use 1.60, so it is available here. We can use from 1.1 to 1.62. So when I try to use this, it is accepting that IP with that subnet mask. So our machine knows that which is the network IP and which is the broadcast IP after doing the subnetting. So it knows that there are 4 subnets. With this subnet mask, it knows there are 4 subnets, and each subnet has how many IP addresses available. So we did it manually here, but machine has a formula, and it is doing that by using automatically it is using that formula, and it is doing that. Now one more thing, after doing the subnetting, they are divided into 4 subnets. They will not be able to do the communication together. Now for seeing that, I will show you in a software. It is called virtual software for networking. We have a software for doing the virtual configuration, or we can say practice. It is called Packet Tracer. So in a Packet Tracer, we can create a network, we have switches, we have routers, we have devices also that is used to do the practice for the networking. So I will show you in that when you divide these networks, they will not able to do the communication. This is Cisco Packet Tracer, and it is good for the practice of the networking. So here I will show you this. We have networks, devices, we have routers, we have switches, we have machines, we have all these things. What I need right now is the switch. So I'm getting one switch here, and I will connect, I will use 4 devices here. So I'm going to use 4 PC here. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Then I will connect this PC by using this connection. So this one, this one, this one, and this one. Now these 3 machines are connected together. 4 machines are connected together. Now what I am going to do, I am going to use those IP addresses which I have used as a subnetting. So on this machine, I will use the valid IP for the first subnet. So in the machine, we will go to desktop and we will go to IP configuration, and here I will configure 192.168.1. The first valid IP for our subnet, first subnet is 1.1. Now I am not doing the subnetting here, I am not changing the default subnet mask. So they will be in the same subnet, they are not divided. Now in this second machine, desktop IP configuration, I will configure the second subnet valid IP. So the second subnet valid IP, second subnet starts from 64, so the valid IP is 65. Now remember, I am not doing subnetting. Then I will go to the third machine, and in that I will use third subnet valid IP. 192.168.1. Third subnet starts from 128. So 129 will be the valid IP, and I am not doing subnetting, I am using the default subnet mask. Then for the fourth machine, I will use the fourth subnet's valid IP. So I will use 192.168.1 1 dot for subnet was starting from 192, so I will use 193 with the default subnet mask. Now these all four machines are having the IP addresses of different subnet masks, different networks which we have divided, but right now we are using default subnet mask, so they are in single network, they are not divided. So I will try to communicate within these these three four machines. I'll try to see whether they can ping, they can communicate or not. So I will go to one machine and there is a command prompt, so I will use ping command to check that whether this machine is connected to other machine or not. So I will use 190 ping 192.168.1.1. Now it is sending the reply because it is itself, this IP is this machine's itself, this machine's IP. Now I will try to ping the other next machine, which is 65, and I am getting the reply again. Now I am getting the reply, that means I am connected to the other machine also, because I am getting the reply. Now I will try to connect third one, 129. Again I am getting the reply because I am connected, because these all four machines are in same subnet. I will try to do with this 93. Again I am getting the reply because they are in same subnet. Now what I will do, I will divide them into different subnets now. So what I will do, I will go to desktop, IP configuration. Now I will change the default subnet mask to what we have subnetted, 192. Now after doing this, these all machines will divide into different networks. So I will divide to this one also 192, this one also I will change to 192, then I will change this one also 192. Now when we change the subnet mask, now what, these four machines now know that they are in different subnets and they will not do the communication. Instead they are connected together with the same switch, but still they will not do the communication. Let's see. So I'll go to again the same command prompt, and again I will try to ping first myself. I'm getting the reply because this is this machine's IP. Now I will try to ping the second one, 65, and now you see it is not pinging, it is not getting any reply. Why? Because now these machines are in different subnets and we are getting the timeout, because now these machines considered as different subnet, because now we did the subnetting. So after doing the subnetting, they will not do the communication because they will considered as different network. Not this machine, not 1.65, not 1.29, not 1.193. They will not do any communication because we have divided them into four different subnets. That is what we have done in our subnetting. So it is not pinging this one also, 129, and it is not going to ping 193 also. So this is what happens when we do the subnetting. So we divide one network, this single network, into four subnets, and these four subnets are like this, and with this subnet mask they will be considered as a different subnet. So now we know that what is subnetting and why we do the subnetting and how we do the subnetting. I will show you another way of doing the subnetting, like a question. So suppose somebody give you the subnet IP and somebody says that this is /26. Now it says do the calculation and find out the available networks and subnets. So how you will do this? This is like a question somebody gives you, like this is our network. So you have to find out that how many network you are getting and how many hosts you are getting. So what is the question here? Is that find out how many networks and host per network you are getting. This is what the question. Now how you will solve this? So first what you will do, first you will find first you will find that which class is this network. First find out the class. So what is the class? So we know the class is what? Class C. Now how we know that? Because of this 192. So we can say it is class C because it starts from 192. So I know this is the class, this is class C. Now second, what I will find, what is the default subnet mask. Now remember, this /26 means what? It is actually subnet mask. So it is not writing the subnet mask here, it is only saying that these number of bits are on. So we have to find out the default subnet mask. So what is the default subnet mask? Now because it is class C, so the default subnet mask is what? 255.255.255.0. So this is what? The default subnet mask. Now what? Next I will find, or I will try to find, is how many extra bits are on. How many extra bits are on in subnet mask. Now how you will know that? We know that the default is what? Default is 255.255.255.0. Now we'll convert this into bits. So we know that 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 dot 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 dot 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 dot 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. This is what? Default subnet mask in bit, and that means 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 0 and equal to how many bits are there? 24. Now what we are having here is 26. So we can easily say 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus. Now how many extra bits are there? So to get the 26, we have to add 2 extra bits. So this 0 is actually what? 2. And that is why we are getting here 26. So by this we now know that 2 extra bits are there. Now we will find out now. By this we will find how many networks and hosts we have. So how you will find this? So you will find that 2 bits are extra. That means 2 bits are on. So we do 2 raised to 2. And what we get is 4. So we have what? 4 number of networks. Now among these 8 bits, if we have 2 extra bits and 2 bits are on, so we get 6 bits are off, and that means we'll do 2 raised to 6, and what we get is 64 hosts per network. So now we know how many networks and how many hosts we have in this subnetting. Now after this, next what we will do is to create network blocks. That means first network will start from we can say network 0 will start from 192.168, or we can say first block. .1.0, and this will be the network IP, and then it is going to end on 64, because in every block we have 64. So 64, that means 63, because we are starting from 0, and this will be the broadcast IP. Then the next block, it will start from 192.168.64, which is the network IP, and it will end on 192.168.127, and that will be the broadcast IP for the second block. Then the third block, it will start from 192.168.128, and that will be the network IP. And then it is going to end on 192.168.1.191. That will be the broadcast IP. Then the third or fourth block, it will start from 192.168.1.192. This will be the network IP, and it is going to end on 192.168.1.255, and that will be the broadcast IP. So what we did here, we got this, and we find out that we have these numbers of network and host, and we have created the 4 blocks, number of blocks, network blocks we have. So we created the number of network blocks here with the start and end IPs. So this is subnetting. I have shown you in class C. We can do the same thing for class A and class B using the same formula, same technique. You can do subnetting with class C, class B and class A also. So we have seen why we do the subnetting, what is the benefit of subnetting, and how we can do the subnetting.